11-2. This is the second 11-2 video. This one is all about getting rid of fractions before solving. You see the problem below? You panic because of the fractions. There's no reason to panic. We're going to get rid of all the fractions before we solve it. Okay, here's how we're going to do it. Whenever there's multiple fractions in a problem, we're going to look for the common denominator. Now this first one they made easy for us. They gave us one that had a common denominator. So we're going to multiply every term in this problem by 7. That means we're going to multiply this by 7, and this by 7, and this by 7. And when we're done, the fractions will be gone. Let's try that. We're going to go 7 times 3y over 7. And then we're going to say plus 7 times 5 over 7 equals 7 times -1/7. Now, if you noticed, right here I went ahead and attached the negative to the 1. In the original problem, the negative was hanging out in the front, but it's just a lot easier if you go ahead and attach it to the top number, and that way it's with a number. So that's what I did. Same problem. All I've done so far is multiply each part by 7. Why 7? Because 7 is the common denominator. Now, let's see what happens. We're going to put our 7's over 1's because we're multiplying fractions, and then a beautiful thing happens. That canceled. That leaves me with 3y. This canceled. That leaves me with plus 5 equals. That canceled. That leaves me with -1. So now I have a normal problem that I know how to solve. We're going to go ahead and solve it. So here's our problem that jumped out of that fractiony mess. 3y plus 5 equals -1. So minus 5 minus 5. That leaves 3y. That makes -6 minus 1 minus 5 minus 1 plus -5. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. Y equals -2. Now we get to check it. I'm waiting for the groans because we get to check it in the original problem. So we think y is -2. Okay, remember we thought y was -2. Now we're going to check it. So we're going to use the original problem. Yes, I know, the one with the fractions. It'll be okay. We're going to put -2 in y's spot. Okay, 3 times -2 is -6. So that's -6/7. Whoops, should be a plus sign. Plus 5/7 equals -1/7. Well, my brain is already going. -6 plus 5 is -1/7. So yeah, -1/7 equals -1/7. It checks beautifully. Okay, here's our next fractiony problem. It's beautiful. The only problem is there are no common denominators. They're all got different denominators. So if I was going to have a common denominator for this, what would it be? Well, 3 and 2 both go into 6, but 2 doesn't go into 9. Let's see. 6 doesn't really go into 9. But what is a number that all of those would go into? If you are thinking 18, you are thinking right. 9 goes into 18. 3 goes into 18. 2 2 goes into 18, and 6 goes into 18. So, to get rid of the fractions, we are going to multiply each term by 18. That times 18, and that times 18, and that times 18, and that times 18. That's what we're getting ready to do to get rid of the fractions. So let's try that. So, 18 times 4p over 9 plus 18 times p over 3 minus 18 times 1/2 equals 18 times 11 over 6. Then it's a good idea to put our 18 over a 1. Why? Because we're multiplying a whole number times a fraction. So I'm going to put all my 18s over a 1, and then I'm going to do the math. Now, last time when we multiplied, everything just canceled. This time, there's going to be a little bit of canceling and reducing and all that sort of thing. So, 9 and 18 will cancel, and that will become 1, and that will become 2. Now, 2 times 4p is 8p. Okay? 3 goes into 18 6 times, so that's a 1, that's a 6. We're canceling. 6 times p is 6p. Okay? 2 goes into 18 9 times, so cancel 1, cancel 9. 9 times 1 is 9. And 6 goes into 18 3 times, so that's a 1 and a 3, and 3 times 11 is 33. So out of that whole fractiony mess, there's a normal problem. You just have to take care of the fractions to find it. Okay, here's our problem that we had after the fractions. So now we're going to go 8p plus 6p, that's 14p. 14p minus 9 equals 33. Plus 9, that's 14p. 33 plus 9 is 42. Divide by 14. Divide by 14, and p equals 3. Oh boy, now we get to check it in the original problem. Okay, so we think p is 3, so we're going to put 3 in for all of the p's. So, let's see, 4 times 3 over 9 plus 3 over 3 minus 1/2 equals 11 over 6. Now we're going to do the math. 4 times 3 is 12, so 12 over 9 plus 3 over 3, which is just 1, minus 1/2 equals 11 over 6. Now, I probably should have left my 3 over 3 as 3 over 3, because then they would already be common denominators, right? So I think I'm going to change that back to 3 over 3, just because it seems to me that'll be better. Okay, now we need a common denominator to add fractions. All of these on this side is what we're adding and subtracting. We're trying to get these to see if they're 11/6. So let's use the common denominator 3. Okay, 6, not 3. 6. We have 3 and 2, so 6. So 12 thirds would be 24 thirds. 24 sixths. And 3 over 3 would be 6 over 6. It's kind of messy. And 1/2 in sixths would be 3/6. Now I can take care of the top numbers. 24 plus 6. Wait a minute. Something's not right. 24 plus 6 is 30. 30 minus 3 is not 11. Let me go back and see if I can locate my mistake. Totally just found my mistake. For some reason, my beautiful 9 morphed into a 3 when I went to check it. Does that ever happen to you? Some number just decides to change its name? So let me go back, erase, and we'll start the check over. Okay, starting over on the checking, we're going to get 12 over 9 plus 3 over 3 minus 1/2 equals 11 over 6. Now, we need some common denominators. Okay? And we've got ninths. Of course, that 12 ninths might reduce, mightn't it? Could you reduce that? Could you divide them both by 3 and make that 4/3? Will that reduce to 4/3? Boy, that helps, doesn't it? Okay, so now we have that. Well, 4/3 plus 3/3, let's go ahead and add those because they have a common denominator. So that's 7/3 minus 1/2 equals 11 over 6. Now all we have to do is get these together. The 7/3 and the minus 1/2. We could get those with the common denominator 6. Then we would be in business. So 3 times 2 is 6, so 7 times 2 is 14. Then we have 2 times 3 is 6, so 1 times 3 is 3. (14) minus 3 happens to be 11. 11 6 equals 11 6. Now, for everyone who's now in overwhelmed land, because that was a really hard check, some of them are really easy, some of them are really hard. But it doesn't matter, you can do it. Hard or easy, you are beautiful, wonderful, awesome math geniuses. Okay, here's your video homework. Just 2. Try them. Get rid of the fractions first. Solve. Check. Show all work. Don't get discouraged if you get stuck. We'll go over them tomorrow. Do your best to see if you can get them right.